It's a great story with Neil Kearney as we build towards the Patnap Farm Blue Diamond later today.
I think there's a bit of pressure on Lauren today because the trainer and the connections have stuck with her in the face of some people saying, well, why don't you put on a proven jockey, a Dwayne Dunn, a Glenn Boss, someone like that? And they've stuck with Lauren, and I think that puts the pressure on her a little bit, and she looks to be handling it well.
There's an old saying, better the devil you know. The horse knows the jockey knows the horse and the jockey know the trainer, and vice versa. And it's all a melting pot when it comes to this big race day. But you're right, Richard, she's drawn an inside barrier at 1. She will be the hunted today, being the favourite.
They're the horses behind the barrier. Just going back to that third divvy, no doubt, there was a third divvy $1.04. When there are late scratchings in races, and there were more than 8 starters before, then you will pay 3 dividends. You need 8 starters for 3 divvies, but as soon as there's a late scratching, we had one about an hour ago and one at the barrier, the 3 divvies. Tom Waterhouse, let's go back to you, Tom. Anything happening here in the Angus Armanasco?
Yeah, there's just been unlimited money for this #1 Members Joy. It's the TomWaterhouse.com market mover, but I still think I'm relying on Meliora as the bookie's chance to get me out of trouble here, but there is just absolutely unlimited for the one. That's the phone going off now. I think there's another big bet coming for it.
You get to that, Tom. Now, 132,000 first prize,
Yeah.
10,500 members. Josh has just worked out $12.57 they each get if the horse wins today.
Well,
that's first prize.
They can buy 2 beers at the bar.
What's the price on the experience then?
You can't put a value on it, but it's great stuff, isn't it? There you go, $12.57 for the 10,500. But it hasn't. Training fees are not costing them much.
Oh no, they're cheap.
Watch Meliora go to the lead here and try and rack them and stack them. And Glenn Boss on Members Joy on this filly on your screen will try and dictate terms just off the speed. That's what he loves to do. Great little battle of tactics, this.
That's for sure, Simon. Here's Greg Miles for his call of the Durban, Angus Armanasco.
This one, she'll move in alongside Balaclava Lady. Track upgraded to a good 3 at 12.55, so a good 3 now. But Members Joy, riding with the hopes of thousands of the Melbourne Racing Club members here today to go off the favourite. And they're all in, set to go. They're racing. And now Red Fez didn't jump all that well, and she's going back 2nd or 3rd last. Members Joy got away okay. She's posied 3rd, the grey. And Meliora led early from Hamam, Members Joy. Red Fez now on the inside of Balaclava Lady from Gondokoro. And Summer Gem 2 lengths away last. So Meliora has the lead. She rolls out with a nice advantage, 1,000 to go. Opening up 3 lengths on Hamam and 3 lengths Members Joy. 1 Red Fez, 3/4 Balaclava Lady, 2 Gondokoro. And about 2.5 to Summer Gem. Well, Meliora storming along by the 800 metres, and she's opened up a long lead, about 4 lengths now on Hamam. 2.5 lengths away Members Joy. Looks to travel within herself at the moment. Track 2 lengths away by Red Fez. 2 Balaclava Lady. 1.5 Gondokoro. 2 lengths to Summer Gem. So Meliora certainly has the field strung out under Luke Nolan. 5 lengths now Hamam. Moving to 3rd, placing a length away is Members Joy. Starting to get a little bit busy on her now is Glenn Boss, and they're 3 lengths to Red Fez. Meliora still with a long lead. 300 to go by 4 to now running on Members Joy, Red Fez, and boxing on Hamam, but they haven't got Meliora inside the 200. Still she's 5 lengths in front. She might have pinched this. Members Joy boxing on with Red Fez and Hamam. She's getting tired, Meliora, but she's too far in front. Meliora won it by 3.5 to Members Joy, a half head to Red Fez, and they're followed just behind those Hamam, Summer Gem, Balaclava Lady, Gondokoro last in.
Well, Pete Moody and Luke Nolan, they won this race 3 years ago, was Set for Fame. He went on to be a very good horseman. What a brilliant ride by Luke Nolan. I mean, he just dashed away and put a space in the field right from about after the first 200 metres, and they just couldn't get near her.
Well, I can't be critical of the jockeys behind either. It's not as if they let her have a rest up in front. She was hiking along the whole way. She had them strung out like Brown's cows, and they all had their chance to make up ground. They just couldn't. Luke Nolan knows this filly pretty well and knew she could produce a sustained effort.
It's all about plotting a plan to beat your opposition. This filly had her 5th run today. This is her 5th run back. She was hard fit. She carries her head up high. She doesn't like being restrained in a race. And she just runs fast sectionals from go to woe. Peter Moody has peaked her to run as fast as she could for the 1,400 metres here on her home track. And the instructions to Luke Nolan was, mate, get him off the bridle, make sure you take that turn of foot out of the horses like Members Joy and also Red Fez. Get them off the bridle, get them chasing early and keep this filly rolling. And that's a beautiful ride. Something we don't see too often with jockeys is riding horses to beat their opposition in different ways sometimes.
And the confidence of Luke Nolan to know that he can take a risk like that with Peter Moody's horses, he's not going to lose the rides if it doesn't work out. It's a confidence thing too, and not many jockeys have a relationship with a trainer that allows them to take risks like that.
No, it's a good point, because I mean, in the old days, Higgins and Cummings and Oliver and Friedman, etc., Clark and Hayes, we don't see many jockeys with a great trainer these days. But I know, you know, Gay's got Tommy Berry at the moment and National Ruler, but Moody and Nolan are in the same sentence, aren't they? When you talk Moody, you talk Nolan these days, and they've been together for a long, long time. And that trust, as you said, Richard, that he knows that, OK, he might mess one up, but he's still going to be on them next week.
Yeah.
He didn't mess that one up at all. That was just a brilliant ride. Hey, Tom sort of tipped us that too, Tom Waterhouse. He said this was his chance in this race, Meliora, so I hope you took that tip.
Well, she was the only speed in the race, and, you know, you were just hoping that they wouldn't let her get too far in front going into the race, but they didn't think that she would keep going, these jockeys, and I agree with you, the Members Joy, Glenn Boss and Red Fez and Chad Schofield, they thought that she'd come back a little bit, but she was cherry ripe, no stone unturned thrown into it today. Couple of Bush boys, Luke Nolan, Peter Moody, they're just flying here at Caulfield, trained on the track.
Bush boys, they eat at the most expensive restaurants in Melbourne, both of them.
They grew up in the country, North Queensland, Peter Moody, and Lukey's a Mansfield boy out that way.
And Pete, Hamish, Pete he only eats at home because he doesn't go out and socialise. He's told me that. Down to you, mate.
Thanks, Macca. Genius ride or genius instructions?
A bit of both. We both agreed to what we wanted to do. Luke rode her at Flemington a couple of runs back and felt he went too slow, and people thought she didn't get the 7, but it was probably the manner we went about riding her. And her last run here was very good. She set a frantic tempo, and they got to her but struggled to get past her. So we thought at 7 she'd keep them very honest, and you know, if she could open up that gap, she was going to take a lot of running down, being, you know, a fit filly with a bloody good deal of ability.
4 from 10 now. The relationship you have with Luke is extraordinary. I mean, you sort of wink, nudge and kick him twice and he does exactly what you're thinking.
Well, we've been together 10 years. I think we're the most successful trainer-jockey partnership.
And a good bloke, eh? Good bloke as well.
He's sweating.
The statistics say that we're the most successful jockey-trainer partnership in the history of Australian racing, if not world racing. So if you can't sort of work out what one another wants now, we're in a bit of bother.
I'm going to be the first journo broadcast that doesn't ask you about the great mare, because I know you're going to speak to her with Bruce, but well done.
Cheers, thanks, Hamish.
Good on you, Hamish. Yeah, Pete Moody will join us in this studio pretty soon, so he'll be a happy Pete Moody, won't he? He won't be moody at all when he comes in here.
No,
he's a great guy. What a clever plotting plan they had there, and this is the end result of all of that. Meliora all the way in the Angus Armanasco. Thank you for that. I enjoyed that little peck on the cheek. Correct weight after the Durban Angus Armanasco. So Group 2 race with 220,000 in total. So really important race for Meliora, for her breeding potential and future. So well done to Luke Nolan and also to Pete Moody.
I just noticed Meliora strapped there by Donna, the strapper of Black Caviar. She's looking after a couple of good horses.
She sure is. So Tom's top divvy, 760 for Meliora after the Durban Angus Armanasco. Let's go back to Hamish. He was speaking to Peter Moody a moment ago. Now to Luke Nolan.
Speaking to Pete Moody, who gives you instructions? Are you in charge now or Pete do it?
We've been working together a long time now, so usually, unless it's something from left field, we're thinking on the same page. So, but he's the captain of the ship, and it's his name on the trainer's licence, so he's got the final say always.
Well, he trusts you absolutely. Tell me, how's the track playing? Out the front, the best place to be?
Oh, look, we're back to the true from the 6 metre position. I think overall, it's probably been tempo races that have probably been the result of horses come from well back or staying on near the speed. So I think overall the track's quite even. But it's just a tempo races. They're going slow. It's going to suit horses close or about the front. And and if they're going at a hectic space, hectic speed, it'll suit runners on.
You're hot. Get in the shower.
I will.
Yeah, he's sweating all right. It was a length, it was 3.5 lengths, by the way, that margin by head. 1:23.38 was the time, so it was a fast gallop for Meliora, and she'd set that up early. Up to the Derby Racing Handicap here. This is a 2-year-old race in Sydney. Now, any 2-year-old race in Sydney is important at this time of the year, but this is not a group race, so next week's the Silver Slipper, where it'll hot up again as it was last week. Marseille Roulette, she came down here with the Blue Diamond Preludes and didn't do much, but she's 9.20. Rockford, so consistent, the stablemate, 9.60. Good Job Bros, another consistent horse. Calming Influence is the favourite for Chris Waller and Jimmy Cassidy at $2, well, $3.20 on Tats. Mr. Jackman in the market, a couple of scratchings lower down. Senior Council having its first start, resuming here. It's at big odds. All that I am sort of in the market there, but it's up the top and it's really Calming Influence. By the way, Tom, well done with Meliora in that last race. What have you got for us in race 3 here in Sydney?
Look, Calming Influence has been a big drifter, 2.30 out to 3.10. There's a good reason for it. It kicked away very impressively last start, led and kicked away. I think here with the heavy track, the bookies want to take it on. The punters have been a bit scared with the way the track's been playing early. The money that's come for number 3, Good Job Bro. It's had 2 runs for 2 seconds, but last start it got beaten by Guelph, who's the Blue Diamond second favourite. They're taking a line out of that race, and they've come strong for it, and I expect more money to come.
Interesting line there, that form line.
Yeah, it's trained on the track too, Good Job Bro, by John Sargent, who's a former top New Zealand trainer. He's come over, he's set up a stable at Warwick Farm, and he's going great guns, so there's a couple of good lines there.
See Sangster fame? Did he train Sangster?
Oh, yeah,
John,
maybe.
Yeah. No, I reckon Todd Bazuston trained Sangster. The one the Derby last year you're talking about.
It's not the first Kiwi to come over and do well.
No,
he
has had good stays and run plenty of good races, that's for sure. John Rooney's out and about. Let's catch up with John.